Welcome back to Movin' Right Along, a Muppet movie podcast brought to you by toughpigs.com. This is the podcast where we watch The Great Muppet Caper 2 minutes at a time and talk about it a lot. I'm your host, Ryan Rowe.
I'm your other host, Anthony Strand.
And we are very excited today that our guest from last week is back with us again. Introduce yourself, please, guest.
Hello, I am still Tansy Rayner Roberts.
Thank you for coming back.
Oh, thank you for having me.
Of course. And today we are looking at minutes 21 and 22 of The Great Muppet Caper, in which Lady Holiday briefs Miss Piggy on her duties for the next hour, and Kermit, Fozzie, and Gonzo arrive at the office. So in the last clip, Lady Holiday hired Miss Piggy as her new receptionist, and now Piggy is demonstrating that she is very good at sitting. There's this little exchange I love where Lady Holiday asks if Piggy is under control, and Piggy makes this little squealing noise, like she's trying really hard not to keep screaming.
So adorable.
Yes, that's a good word for it. It's adorable, it's endearing, it's just very funny.
Yeah, it is. I mean, we were talking about it last week. It's nice to have her fangirling over a impressive woman instead of, quietly plotting her murder.
Right.
And of course that we've got Diana Rigg being so withering, which is something that she does very well. And that Miss Piggy isn't, her feelings aren't hurt. She doesn't mind. She would rather basically, the fact that Lady Holiday is kind of being very sarcastic at her is in itself like quite exciting to her. It's like if a celebrity is rude to you and you're like, awesome. That's my story for the next 20 years.
Like, I just got insulted by that famous person.
Yeah, Madonna just spilled a cup of coffee on me. This is amazing. It's a little bit like that. Like she's just so excited. And there's also this the insulting tone of Lady Holiday is not sinking in, perhaps.
No, she's thrilled by all of it.
Yeah, it's just very exciting.
Yeah. So Lady Holiday's gonna go out to lunch with her brother. She's gonna tell Miss Piggy here in a minute to answer the phone and straighten up the office. But first, she tells Miss Piggy way more than necessary about her brother Nicky.
She tells her exactly the necessary amount of information that we need about everything. Her brother Nicky.
Yeah, and so this is where we have Piggy asking, "Why are you telling me all this?" And Lady Holiday says, "It's plot exposition. It has to go somewhere." I feel like this is possibly the most frequently quoted line or joke from this movie. I think maybe writers love this line because they wish that they could get away with this, but most movies don't have this kind of self-aware tone. But in this movie, you can get away with it.
Well, right, and this movie already did it. So, you're just ripping off The Great Muppet Caper if you do that joke.
Yeah. But it's such a glorious scene, though. Like, the exposition itself, I'd forgotten about the exposition joke. I'm just, watching Diana Rigg, and the exposition just keeps coming.
It does cut back to Piggy at one point, kind of making a face like, what?
It does, but that's the thing, because the scene is so long, but she gets up, she moves across the room, she touches props. They go from a long shot to a mid shot, so much stuff happens. And yes, it cuts to Miss Piggy and then back again because she's still talking and she pauses here and there, but then she always continues. It's basically, I transcribed it because I was kind of, tracking this. It's it came up as 7 lines of typing.
Wow.
It's all one sentence. Because pretty close, it's almost one sentence, because every now and then she pauses, but then she continues as if it's still part of the same thought, and she makes it all look as if it's naturally coming out of her. Right, this thing of a brilliant actress.
Yeah, that's true.
And she keeps pausing and then adding a bit more thing, and just another detail and another detail.
And even her delivery of "it's plot exposition, it has to go somewhere" is so casual and off the cuff.
Right, she's just kind of like, what are you gonna do?
Yeah, even there, she's not like hitting the joke with a sledgehammer, which makes it so much funnier.
It doesn't feel like it's scripted. It feels like it's because just the way she is presenting this information, it just feels so natural, and it just goes on for so long.
Right. Well, and I love that the line that finally makes Piggy ask, "Why are you telling me this?" is, "I don't know why his bow ties are always crooked."
It's clearly she has to vent. I mean, it's not like she's friends with her models. She needs someone to talk to about her terrible brother, Nicky. I also love, it's not just exposition. It's there are so many little phrasings and things that just add so much character to what she's saying. Like, she just starts off telling her, I'll be having lunch with my brother, Nicky, and then he's second in command. This is information that's necessary to Miss Piggy. But goes straight to, he's an irresponsible parasite.
Yes.
You know, I had to bring him into the business because he squandered his half of the inheritance. There's so much information here. It's just lovely.
Yeah, you're
And
right.
she's
It's more descriptive and pointed than even if she was gonna tell Piggy, like, oh, I'm going out to lunch with my brother. I don't like him that much. Like, yeah, this is it's much more. There's much more weight to it than is necessary too.
Absolutely, this whole backstory. The fact as well, like, he squandered his half of the inheritance, which implies that Lady Halliday, of course, who has a business empire with her fashion house, she spent her inheritance on her business. So, or she at least, you know, she used it productively.
She invested it, right?
And still has plenty of money. Like, she's not short on funds. The fact that she as a person is willing to, or she feels obliged to take her feckless brother in and support him despite the fact that he behaves terribly. There's a lot of character. You know, they always say for good writing, you shouldn't have any scene in your story that doesn't both develop character and push the story forward. Ideally, it should do both. It has to do at least one of those things, or you need to cut the scene. This actually is working pretty hard for basic exposition.
Well, it tells us a lot about Nicky, for sure.
Yeah, but I think it also tells us quite a bit about Lady Halliday.
Yes, that's true.
And who she is and the choices she has made. And of course, we get to talk about the most valuable and largest jewel. Like, does she say that every time she talks about it? Of course, my most valuable and largest jewel, the fabulous baseball diamond.
Right.
Yeah, it's always the fabulous baseball
It's always
diamond.
the fabulous baseball diamond, yeah.
And this is the first time we're hearing of that, too, I believe.
Yep, it is.
Yeah, so that's important exposition. And the thing is, we don't actually know yet that the guy who robbed her in the opening number was her brother. I don't think we see him again until the Dubonnet Club later, right?
Is that right? We'll
think
see, I guess.
so.
We'll see.
Yeah. So
Well,
I guess for people who saw this in the theater for the first time, they didn't know yet until they saw him in a later scene, and they were able to go, oh, that's the same guy.
Right. They were like, oh, Charles Grodin.
Yeah, they're
The
both Charles
Heartbreak
Grodin.
Kid.
Was he wearing a bow tie in the opening scene?
I don't think so, but he was wearing flowered socks.
Okay. Because now the thing that I'm, in fact, going to have to go and watch this movie when we're done here, because I desperately actually want to know if his bow ties are always going to be crooked, because that's something I feel needs to be followed through.
Oh, yeah, I'm going to keep an eye out.
Yeah. Because if Diana Rigg tells me something, I want to believe it.
Of course.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah.
So is this also the only time that Lady Halliday is aware that she's in a movie? Because the Muppets are constantly aware. But for other characters, it kind of comes and goes.
Yeah, I guess so.
It's interesting. It's quite rare with humans, isn't it? Because it's almost like they don't get to be that funny. So
Right.
actually having that extra meta level is usually the superpower just for the Muppets. Mainly because the humans are usually the straight person.
Right.
You know, as in they're the ones that the jokes play off, and they get to looking confused is often the part that they're given.
Right, and
Yeah,
there's
no,
I can think of one instance of that's coming later in the movie, but yeah, I think she might actually be the only human star who is actively aware that they're in a movie.
Well, but Charles Grodin does it later.
Oh, what is he?
Well, you'll
do?
just have to keep a tally as you go.
Piggy says, "Why are you doing this?" And he says, "I'm a bad guy, pure and simple." Like, I feel like that's his function in the script, right? That's not
he's
like
acknowledging that he's the antagonist.
Yeah.
See, now I'm thinking of
All
the really the modern Muppets movie with the song about being a bad guy, like tragic backstory song. But anyway,
Oh, the Chris Cooper one. That
yes,
song?
the Chris Cooper
Yeah,
one.
yeah.
Which, amazingly, the song that is presented in the movie doesn't, like, it's only, I think, a little bit, but then on the album, which my family listened to a zillion times, the song on the album gives the entire backstory, and I'm just like, why was that song not in the film?
Yeah,
It's doing a lot of
one of
lifting.
many baffling cuts to that movie.
Well, and even
Yeah.
on the DVD, they have the full scene as an extra, but they didn't incorporate it back into the movie, which I think is a real
It's a
shame.
really important scene.
Yeah,
That's
like-
all motivation.
I really wish there was a way, like a a fan edit. I wish there was a fan edit with that whole scene back in, and like maybe 40% less Jason Segel. But
but fair, yeah. But no, it's because just it was one of those bewildering things about listening to the album, which I did a lot. No, sorry. I'm going to say we've got to at least if you haven't discussed this before, the baseball diamond, like
it's so silly.
It's such an easy joke, but it's such a great joke.
Well, and I don't know how old I was before I actually realized that was a joke.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I mean, as a 5-year-old kid, I didn't really know what a baseball. It also probably doesn't help that I'm not and have never really been into sports at all.
For sure. See, like I grew up with a bunch of brothers who are like. Literally, my brother's senior yearbook shows my two younger brothers standing in their baseball jerseys, and the caption is, "The Strand brothers are baseball fiends."
So you spent some time around baseball diamonds.
Yeah, so I got that joke as a kid.
Oh, there you go.
As an Australian, we don't really have a baseball culture much at all.
Sure, yeah.
I'm pretty sure that like I didn't get the reference until many, many, many years later. Possibly the other way around of like, oh, that's what a baseball diamond is. Okay.
Yeah.
No, because we don't have baseball in Australia. We have all the other sports.
I assume you have cricket.
We do. We have a lot of cricket
and rugby.
Yes,
So,
yes.
yeah.
And
we don't have those things.
Yeah, we have several kinds of football. But yeah, no, we just don't do baseball.
So in a previous episode, I mentioned that early in the sort of development process, it was reported that this movie was going to feature Lauren Bacall in what was ended up being the Lady Holiday role.
Okay,
and she was
that
going
would
to
also be great casting. But
yeah, it would have been fun to see. She was going to be the aunt to the character who would end up being Nikki Holiday. But it's interesting, as recently as that July 22nd, 1980 draft of the screenplay that I've been referring to, they still referred to Lady Holiday as Nikki's aunt. So I don't know if they hadn't cast Diana Rigg and Charles Grodin yet, or they weren't sure who they were going to cast, but they were still thinking of that relationship as being a nephew and an aunt.
I suppose, yeah, it would depend not just on who they cast in one part, but who they cast in the other as well. Because, I mean,
right.
Not Diana Rigg at this point in her career is probably old enough to be somebody's aunt, if not,
right, but
not to go.
She's actually younger than Charles Grodin by 3 years. So,
well, there you go. But she could carry it off if it was, for instance, if they decided to cast him younger.
Right.
They could have gone with like a teenager or a like early 20-something feckless youth type.
Yeah, that would have been interesting too.
Yeah.
Right.
Probably depending on, I mean, who could they have got at that? As you know, I'm just thinking a young River Phoenix. No, too young.
Well, he's too young.
Too young.
I don't know.
Somebody like around 20 years old, maybe.
Yeah, somebody like no. See, again, I was thinking like Jason Bateman. Too young. He was a baby. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Even Peter Sutherland probably too young, but one of that sort of.
All right. Well, listeners, tell us.
80s actors.
Listeners, tell us in the comments which actor in their late teens or early 20s you would like to have seen.
You guys, it's right there. Mark Hamill.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
He would have jumped at the chance to play that role.
If you had Mark Hamill, you really would have to keep it as brother and sister and have Carrie Fisher as well, because can you imagine? That would have been a beautiful thing.
That would have been
Especially
fun.
as, hang on, was this before or after Jedi? Because that would have been even better.
This was before Jedi. This came out in 81, so Jedi was 83.
See, it would have been a hilarious thing if I was like, hang on, our movie's just been spoiled by the Muppets.
Wow.
2 years early.
Right. And of course, Miss Piggy is Yoda. So there's that too.
So there's somewhere there's an alternate universe where that happened, and everybody loves that movie. But we love this movie too.
We do.
And in this movie, Lady Holiday just kind of takes off and leaves Piggy alone in the office, which she seems very surprisingly confident in this stranger whom she just met and just hired.
Yeah.
To leave her in charge of the office for an hour, and there's all these expensive looking things around.
Like the fact that was it established that she needed a receptionist? I mean, clearly she. Why does she not already have?
No.
What happened to the last receptionist? Is it like Murphy Brown, where she like needs a new one every few days?
No,
because
she
goes
hadn't
to
mentioned
the
it until
thing?
she told Piggy that she had the job. So
Yeah, like the. It is a very cute scene though, with Piggy left on her own in this beautiful, spacious office, and she immediately like makes herself comfortable, and she says, "I'm so happy for me."
Right,
It's
well,
such a cute line.
I love how confident she is in her own, like as Lady Holiday tells her what to do, she does this like adorable little head shake and says, "Consider it done," and then tells her not to sweat. And I love the phrasing of "not to sweat."
Yes.
yeah,
I
she
really
doesn't say
did
don't
think
sweat it. She just says not to sweat.
there's a pause, and I really did think at that point that she was going to get lectured about, one of these like "ladies don't sweat, they perspire" kind of lines. Like it almost felt like I could see it going through Diana Rigg's eyes, but then she just left. I mean, yeah.
Although she gives her a very friendly smile on the way out the door, which is kind of startling.
Right, that's what I'm saying. She seems very confident in the abilities of this person that she just met, this strange pig.
Yep, she does.
Yeah, actually,
like she clearly knew that Miss Piggy was like going to be a great worker and really kind of support her in her business and just be very professional.
Obviously.
Yeah.
Not try to steal her identity.
And this is where we get from Miss Piggy the confirmation that yes, she thoroughly believes that being the receptionist is the first step. She's like, yes, this is me becoming a famous model. Miss Piggy, you are on your way. That's
right. And I like the little when she throws her hat. She's just so happy that she's on this path to modeling superstardom.
My favorite my favorite bit is that she says, "Oh boy, boy."
Yep.
Also, just the whole like throwing of the hat. When you get, again, you're talking last week about good puppet moments. It's one of those like that's actually probably quite a difficult trick to do. The whole like having her throw and the hat.
Yeah. I guess
it shows the hat was not attached as well, which frankly,
I guess I'm not exactly sure how they did that.
Because it was at quite an angle. Was there a lot of Velcro? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, and I would assume that this is the kind of thing where there was another puppeteer working her left hand.
I'm looking at it right now.
Yeah.
And it looks like her hand and the hat completely drop out of frame. So I kind of wonder if Frank Oz didn't just like take it out of her hand and throw it up.
Oh yeah, or maybe another puppeteer down there threw it up.
Yeah. And then right. Somebody threw it up and Piggy raised her hand at the same time.
Yeah, and it happens very quickly, so we don't really.
Yeah, it's very nicely done, and it's one of those things, isn't it? Because you do forget. It's quite easy to just forget that there's puppetry involved in this.
Right, Miss Piggy's just a person.
I often forget while watching the Muppets, and then every now and then it's like something that my family has actually been rewatching. We had a whole series of The Goodies, which is a comedy show from the 70s, who did a lot of very early trick photography and lots of playing with the film, chroma key, all the stuff you could do in the 70s. They were playing with a lot of things. And watching it now as an adult, as opposed to when I was a kid, was fascinating because I just watched it when I was a kid and like, oh yeah, all that stuff they did, whatever, because I was used to cartoons. And as an adult, you're like, this was the 1970s. How did they do this before computer? Technically, it's just like, some of the stunts they pulled because
I always
thing yet.
I always think of the episode with the kitten that turns giant.
Yeah,
the Goodies episode.
Yeah, absolutely.
That looks better than Invasion of the Dinosaurs from Doctor Who from around the same time. It
really does, and it's a very similar. Like it's actually, I think, a couple of years earlier, but it is equivalent to John Pertwee and early Tom Baker Doctor Who time-wise. And I'd never really thought before that at the same time that John Pertwee Doctor Who was using this kind of special effects for the very first time, and they were experimenting with things like that, the Goodies were doing the same on a comedy budget.
Right, and it looks way better.
Yeah, it's just amazing what can be done with the physical. As the thing about the puppetry and the Muppets, doing the physical, the puppetry, it ages so much better. Look at all the early CG stuff, even from, never mind things like, Phantom Menace, or even like the first couple of years of New Who, a lot of that does not age. A lot of the special effects do not age well in the same way that puppetry and that stuff it does.
Yeah, it just always looks real.
Mm.
Like it always looks like it's a real thing that physically exists, whereas
Yeah.
the CG does not. And yeah, when you're a kid, you never stop to think that somebody had to come up with a way to do all this stuff. They had to figure it all out.
Right.
And of course, with the Muppet movies, there was always these things that they do that they'd never done before, like the whole, like, bicycle riding or the roller skating, all these little things of like, hey, you've never seen their legs before. This is new. And it's like, oh, I literally never realized that I'd never seen a Muppet leg before.
Yeah.
Before the movie.
Constantly challenging themselves. Yeah, some people get creeped out by Muppet legs, but I always like to see, to see that the Muppets can do anything that anyone can. Of course they have legs.
Yeah.
So Miss Piggy, very happy in the office here. Another thing from that earlier draft of the screenplay, there's actually a song here in that draft where Miss Piggy sees herself in a mirror and she sings a duet with herself about how it's like an aspirational song about how she's taking the first step to making her dreams come true. I think it probably would have slowed things down.
Probably, but it's kind of a shame we didn't get that song.
Yeah, it would have been kind of nice to see Piggy singing with her reflection.
Yeah.
Frank Oz harmonizing with himself, maybe.
Well, especially, and we talked about the modern Muppet movie, especially considering that was done to such effect with the Man or Muppet kind of thing many, many years later. And of course, you don't have Jermaine Clement there to write you the song, but still, it could have been very interesting.
Yeah, that's a good point, how these kind of themes kind of come back later.
Yeah, and I really do hate to be that guy, but Brett McKenzie wrote the songs.
Oh, he did. Okay.
Yeah, it was Brett. Jermaine's in Muppets Most Wanted, but Brett wrote the songs.
That's very okay. That's very confusing, but that does make sense.
I didn't even catch that. Good ear, Anthony.
Well done. Okay, we've got 3 sinister models in trench coats.
Yes, they're exiting now, having been insulted by Lady Holiday in the previous scene.
Can I just say it's a beautiful transition scene because we've got the models talking about again motivation. They're planning a robbery, and they want to get back at Lady Holiday for, let's be clear, her insulting them. But she was mostly insulting the clothes that she had made them wear. So she made them wear clothes that she then deemed insufficient and had to fix. She mostly insulted the clothes. She did appear to blame them slightly for this. So look, I know that it's not a great industry, but I do kind of feel like being criticized is just one of those things that actually models are pretty used to.
Yeah,
it's kind of really, being micro-criticized is one of those aspects of being a model, even in the 1980s. And, she actually, as we said earlier, she wasn't that insulting compared to the kinds of, say, body shaming and insulting that we would see for, equivalent women now, actually. It was pretty mild stuff. I mean, maybe there's been a lot of stuff behind the scenes, obviously been going on for some time.
Right, I think that's sort of the implication, is that this is a long simmering resentment of Lady Holiday. But
like, really, is she especially worse than other employers of models in the fashion industry? Right, and when you consider some of the horrendous... Not that to say that in any way, it's absolutely, I'm not saying I'm not on their side, but I feel that it seems like very, very slim justification for pulling a major crime.
Yeah. Well, I guess, they're not really meant to be sympathetic
villains. No, they're not.
Well, and of course, what we don't know yet, I mean, Lady Holiday said that her brother Nicky is going to steal the fabulous baseball diamond, right? But they're working with him. We come to find out. So I kind of wonder if that has played into their motivation as well. That they, the scumbag brother is their confidant, their go-to guy in the company.
It's also interesting that the movie is just giving us all this information. Like, we saw Nicky steal the jewels at the beginning of the movie. Now we hear the models just say that they're planning on stealing her necklace. It's like there's no aspect of who done it to this movie. It's more like it's not a who done it. It's a will Kermit catch 'em.
Well, also it's like, how is this going to play out?
Yeah,
because they don't want us to waste any energy at all wondering what's going to happen in the story. Wondering how the story will or how the plot is working. It's more like, how is this going to be funny involving the Muppets?
Right, just sit back.
So, yeah.
Right.
How is this going to lead to an amazing, hilarious sequence at some point in the future?
Yeah. One thing I like that I don't think I noticed this until I had seen this movie many, many times. So Marla, Darla, and Carla are wearing matching coats, and then they're each wearing a different colored hat of the same style, like Huey, Dewey, and Louie, if you will. And then they each have a hat pin with their first initial. I like that little detail.
Oh, that's lovely.
Yeah.
And that means we can tell them apart.
Yes, that's how you know which one is Darla, which one is Marla, and which one is Carla. D, M, and C.
Is very nice. The thing that I noticed about their lovely trench coats, as they getting slightly ahead of ourselves, as they get into the lift, and of course Fozzie, Gonzo, and Kermit get out, is that at least Gonzo and Kermit are wearing the same coats. Like, they're also wearing trench coats.
Oh, that's
but for
true.
a different reason, because they're like
similar...
reporters, aren't they? But it's just this odd thing of like they're all wearing the same outfit.
Huh.
It's like, was there a sale on trench coats that are both model sized and small Muppet sized?
I guess so.
It was just like a really nice little aesthetic juxtaposition.
Yeah, that's funny. Huh. There's this moment too where they're talking about the robbery, and then it cuts to Darla, and she says, "What you gonna wear for the robbery?" And then it immediately the elevator bell dings and the doors open. I guess that's a joke. That's obviously supposed to be a joke. But as many times as I've seen this with an audience or just with a group of friends, that never quite lands as a joke or gets laughs. And I don't know if it's just because Della Finch, this actress, is not a comedian, or if it's just not much of a joke. What you gonna wear to the robbery? Yeah,
if the timing doesn't quite... If anything, the immediate effect of the timing is like, did Kermit and the others overhear discussion of a robbery because the lift doors has just opened?
Oh, yeah.
So because, I guess maybe because of that it just, it doesn't really... The idea of models, I think, having really concerns about what you dress for a robbery is in itself
they want to make sure they're well dressed.
Yeah, it's funny enough for a whole scene, really, but you've got to actually... Yeah, I think it's something, but it's almost it disappears a bit. But that's, they can't all be winners.
Right. Although I do love the dry delivery of, did you just give directions to a frog? I guess I did.
Yeah, that's fun. So I guess it's just the timing of this particular joke.
We talked last week about how much they acknowledge that the characters are animals in this, and there's another one.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. Right, so the elevator or the lift opens, and out comes Fozzie, Gonzo, and Kermit. Fozzie is not wearing his hat here. He's holding it in his hand.
Yeah, I found that really confusing because I was just like, why is he not wearing his... Is it... Like, I was immediately like, did he take it off to be polite? Because it feels weird that it's off already, that you don't see...
Well,
Yeah,
especially because Kermit's still wearing his. Like, if they had both taken them off because they're indoors or whatever,
Yeah.
Yeah. And we don't usually see Fozzie take his hat off when he goes in to a building.
No, and seeing him without his hat is actually just quietly upsetting. Like, it's disruptive.
His head is always kind of more cone-shaped than you expect it to be.
It looks, it's pointy.
I mean, it was almost, it felt as if it was like, is it off because in the presence of ladies? Like, that's kind of a politeness, except it's already off.
Right, it's off before the doors open.
So it's not for that reason. It's just for some reason he is not wearing his hat. And it did actually quietly upset me when I was watching. I was like, why is he not wearing his hat? What have I missed?
Well, if Fozzie is trying to be polite, Gonzo makes no effort to be polite because he is openly and blatantly ogling Darla. He even says hubba hubba.
Yeah.
Which you would probably not see in a Muppet movie today.
Yeah, I was going to say, I kind of feel like that's a little too much.
Yeah, I think so.
I kind of feel like Gonzo would be, sent to a workshop to discuss appropriate behavior around just people generally. It's not even just in the workplace, though, let's face it. He would be the one to send, wouldn't he? In fact, probably Miss Piggy is the other one who'd be just based on some of her past behavior would be sent to, to a workshop to talk about appropriate behavior.
Well, and of course, animal. Right?
Oh,
Yes.
absolutely.
They'd have to design a special workshop for Animal, I think.
That would be several
a
days
a whole
yeah.
intensive course. Yeah. Which would actually be quite traumatizing for the instructors. That's probably just for the best. Yeah. But we do get a bit of a classic Gonzo nose gag. So he does get
Right.
immediately punished for his
exactly. He gets what's
sexist
coming
behavior.
to him.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like that's why I kind of excuse it, because it's basically just an excuse to get his nose stuck in the door.
Right. So
Like,
while
Oh, it
he's
is.
gazing at the models and taking their, so that's another creepy thing. He takes their picture without asking permission first.
Yeah, that's
Um,
actually a weirder thing.
I think so.
Especially with it's a professional camera. Like today, I don't know, maybe somebody like with one on their phone or something like that, or somebody with like a small, like a Polaroid camera or something. That isn't something I think that would be quite as weird. But the fact that he has this big professional setup, it is weird.
Yeah.
It's inside. The lighting can't be that great.
True.
Yeah,
I mean, his flash goes off, but no, it can't be a very good.
Yeah, it is
quality
very
picture.
interesting. It's like a full paparazzi moment.
Yeah. But then, so his nose gets stuck in the elevator doors.
Instant karma.
Yes, exactly.
Yes.
Fozzie pulls him out, and when Gonzo comes out, his nose is sort of twisted like a corkscrew. The tip of it is pointing up, and I've mentioned before how much I love when they do when they just physically mess with the puppets for the sake of a gag. So this is another good one.
Yeah.
I can't think if this is the first time that they actually messed with Gonzo's nose.
Oh, I just can't imagine that it could be. Like,
I
it
don't
just
know.
seems like something that we've seen before, but it's so hard to tell, isn't it? Because, I mean, I never watched Muppet things in the correct order, so I have a very loose sense for what happens in which order. In fact, for most of my life, I had it very set in my head that this was the third Muppet movie and not the second one. So it's actually even now quite hard to keep that straight in my head.
Huh.
Sure.
For some reason,
And the first was, or the second was Muppets Take Manhattan.
Yeah. In my
is what you
head,
thought?
my head, that was the second one, and I don't know why, but it just lodged. It may have been because that's how I watched them as a kid. But yeah, so the same with the TV show. Like it's all. I mostly watched the TV show after I'd seen the movies. It's a lot like Star Trek in that way for me. So I've watched everything in the wrong order.
Sure.
So I don't know, but I'm pretty sure we've seen that nose gag a lot, and it's always pretty good.
So I did find this out in the Madeline Kahn episode. Gonzo's nose gets scrunched up during the trumpet gag in the opening credits.
Okay.
So-
I wasn't even thinking of the trumpet gag.
Yeah.
but of course it would
So
be.
at least there it happened.
So
Yeah, okay.
my question is, does the Gonzo puppet have a malleable nose, or do they remove the nose and replace it with a different nose when they want that to do that gag? Both
That's
answers
a great
are upsetting.
question.
It
And I
seems
can't
like
imagine. I can't imagine that they would have built an entirely new puppet for this. Maybe they had like an older Gonzo puppet, and then they just mutilated the nose for these shots.
yeah, because it definitely is not the same shape. Like
Right.
See, I knew the answer to the question would be traumatizing. But, like, there's no good way to answer this. I think in my heart, I always think that the noses must be removable because of that like classic Sesame Street gag where Ernie
like,
removes
Bert's
Bert's nose.
Yeah.
Yeah, so in my head, they're just like these parts just come off. But of course,
I mean, I could see Fozzie's nose being like that, but Gonzo's nose, I'm pretty sure is just part of the sculpt of his skull.
because
But,
like
I don't know.
they do
Any
this gag
puppet
a
builders
lot,
out
and it
there?
would make sense
please
if
let
there
me
was
know.
like wire or something in there, so you could. But then it's. How would you get it back properly smooth? Yeah, no, it's
Right.
Yeah, they must have built a nose at least for this.
Yeah,
Yes.
I would think so.
Which
maybe they
again,
have
like
a separate one which can have multiple noses. Like if they had a Gonzo just for a twisty nose version of Gonzo.
Yeah, I mean, they might have built one with some kind of armature. Is that what you call like the
with
flexible? Yeah, maybe
that's
they
what I'm
built
thinking,
one
with
that
wire or something, so you could actually scrunch it and twist it and
had
reshape it.
for this and
Yeah.
any other future possible Gonzo nose
Also-
mutilation gags.
Also
Yeah.
traumatizing, like the whole thought
Sure.
of the whole thing.
Well, but funny.
Yeah, but also it's like, does that mean there's a stunt Gonzo? Because personally, in my heart of heart, I want to believe that Gonzo does all his own stunts.
Sure.
But then I want to see the movie about what the stunt Gonzo gets up to, because obviously he's a real person too.
right, yeah.
Yeah. I feel that if I was writing a Muppet movie, it would actually get very traumatizing very quickly
Oh.
because it would be just a bit too meta of like, how many Muppets are in the cupboard that don't get used anymore.
Wow.
Aw.
Yeah. So you want to see the
Go
like,
full
the-
Toy Story on this, yeah.
what's really
Yeah,
happening
yeah.
when we're not looking usually to the
Well,
Muppets.
because they're constantly messing with us, with
Yeah.
the sense of reality. It's the thing that as a child I always found very disruptive about the Muppets. Like Manhattan is, I think, the worst example of this, where you've got multiple alternate realities going in your head. And it's like,
Right.
well, they went to college, but like at what point did they do this? But now they're doing this. But then there's a movie. And like, are they also in the movie? At what point? Are they in the
Yeah.
movie about them being in the movie? So which version actually happened? It's
Yeah,
I
although
think it's usually best not to think about it too hard.
and that's why I like this movie, because this movie actually doesn't have as much of that stuff. It's just a
Right.
straightforward.
well, and I think that this one just reassures you that it's just a movie so often,
Yes.
which helps.
It's
You know?
comforting.
Yeah.
Muppets Take Manhattan is weirdly, it's the only one that never acknowledges that it's a movie.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Oh, really?
Out of all
Because-
8, yeah.
Yeah. That is
So-
interesting because
so I think
so
that's-
much better. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's part of why it feels so harsh and raw. Like that sounds silly to say, but like it kind
It's
of
the dark and gritty Muppet movie.
yeah,
It's philosophically distressing.
yeah.
Yeah. So Fozzie asks Gonzo, "Are you okay?" But that's where our clip ends. So we're gonna have to wait until next week to find out.
So
whether
I will
Gonzo is
never
okay
find
or
out.
not.
I'm
Well,
So sorry to traumatize you further, Tansy. But,
Yeah, no, I'm just
um,
gonna like be on tenterhooks. I'm gonna have to go watch the movie. I'm pretty sure I've got it on DVD somewhere.
Good. Everyone should own this movie on DVD.
I know.
So, Tansy, do you have any other thoughts about this scene or the movie in general? Or I think you mentioned maybe something about Diana Rigg.
Yeah, I mean, for the movie as a whole, pretty much I'm hung up on that whole, apart from the nose thing, which I didn't realize was getting me so deeply. I was really hung up on the symmetry of the trench coats.
Oh, sure.
And I feel honestly that somebody should have commented within the movie. Yeah, no, I just wanted to say that, I mean, part of the reason I was so keen to come in and talk about a bit of this movie with Diana Rigg is she's always been one of my favorites. I think this must be one of the first things I saw her in and then retrospectively realized, oh, it's her, and went back and reappreciated, because I watched so much of the black and white Avengers from the 60s when I was a kid, like really quite young. So it was very formative for me. And she's one of those actors I've always been excited to find her in things.
Mm.
I've watched her in a lot of stuff over the years. And she's somebody who I think she was such an interesting choice for this, because she does command a scene. She is somebody you can trust to make a scene more interesting than the dialogue presented. But
She
she's
definitely
actually
does that, yeah.
yeah, but she's also given some quite good material. I like that she is like, I don't think that there was a guest role for a human written with quite as much cool stuff to do until the 90s, until the kind of, your Long John Silver and your Christmas Carol.
Sure,
and again, this is probably one of the best, if not the best, human roles written for a female human guest star in any of the movies, because usually usually Miss Piggy is the main
right.
but you know what I mean, like
right,
often
not until probably Tina Fey in Muppets Most Wanted.
yeah, no,
That's
I agree.
true. I mean, you
That's
have
probably the
Jenny
better
in the Muppets Take Manhattan, but she's
Yeah,
not really
She's
a character.
sweet, but she's not really given that much to do that's particularly
Yeah.
interesting or challenging.
Exactly.
She isn't given a central role. And so it really takes a kind of a villainous part really to be equivalent.
Yeah.
It is. It's a great part, and the whole thing kind of. But she also has that very good skill. Like we know from the Muppet Show, some actors just did better at performing with Muppets than others.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And when you got the ones that really got how to do it, how to play it completely straight, and make that connection and treat it as if it was an equally serious acting job and not, say, an excuse to just goof around. She's just so elegant, poised, and pitch perfect. But I also do like that she gets to be snarky in this, because it is one of her great skills. Everything from Emma Peel to her ongoing part in Game of Thrones. She does sarcasm well, and she does that sort of very sharp, saying very sharp things in such a way that still just, you can see why Miss Piggy goes gooey over her.
Yeah. I should seek out more of the Avengers TV show. I haven't really seen
It is very good, especially
that.
the Dynamiggery is a fantastic. I've actually been rewatching a bunch of them recently.
Hmm.
It's just good spy drama and hijinks, but it is interesting to watch as well because it starts out much more spy drama and then gets more surreal and strange. That
sounds good.
It's very, very fun. Like the color episodes with Diana Rigg are some quite spectacular TV, and because it's on film, it still looks amazing.
Sure, yeah.
In a way that a lot of 60s stuff doesn't hold up. But it's actually really, a lot of it's quite beautifully shot, and a lot of the writers and the directors, guest stars. My goodness, some of the guest stars in that show. There's a lot of crossover with things like Doctor Who and stuff like that as well. So that's quite fun.
Cool.
There's a Nicholas Courtney episode in which he actually gets shrunk by a shrinking machine. For those who are fans of the Brigadier from Doctor Who, there's a lot of I still have not seen some of the later stuff after Diana Rigg left because I was too traumatized. But I want to because there's a John Cleese episode that I've never seen. So.
Oh, cool! Nice. Whoa!
Yeah, there's a lot of really interesting. So it's a fun one to watch if you like the retro TV, which clearly you do.
Yes, I should look for all of this.
Yes, yeah.
So everyone, go watch the old TV series, The Avengers.
Yeah.
All right, so Anthony, any final thoughts?
No, I think I got everything in that I wanted to say.
All right, so in that case, we will wrap things up for this week. Listeners, please check out Tough Pigs on the internet, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and all those things. Also, you can find me on Twitter at @MeRyanRowe, and you can find Anthony on Twitter at @ZeppoMarxist. Tansy, remind everyone where they can find you on the internet or elsewhere.
You can find me on Twitter at TansyRR. And I also have tansyrr.com, which is my website where you can find links to all the many things that I do. I have 3 podcasts. Galactic Suburbia is kind of feminist discussion of science fiction publishing from an Australian point of view. Verity is an international all-female Doctor Who podcast. And Sheep Might Fly is my own podcast in which I read serialized short stories every week. Yeah,
that's great.
So that's it, that's me.
Yeah, so everyone should check those out. And if you're so inclined, give us a positive review on iTunes. This is the time to do it. We tell you all the time. This is the time you're going to go and do it. So then we will see you again next week for another episode of Moving Right Along. See you later.
Bye.
Bye.